To start out for the night, what I want to do is set the stage. This evening, this session is about love and unity and building a vision for humanity that is greatly needed right now. So that's what we're going to be doing together as a group. We're going to be concentrating our focus and our effort and our energy on one focal point, because that raises the power of everybody's intentions. So you may have noticed that the last couple of years have been a challenging go for the world. In all respects, people dealt with things the best they could, and everybody's doing the best they can. And I cannot stress this enough, that everybody is doing the best they can. The purpose for tonight is going to be to raise our collective vibration and then to infuse that energy literally and physically into the collective timeline in support of actions that are taking place around the world as people kind of wake up to what's possible, and they wake up to a world where we are united again. And I think everybody, I know it's been a long 2 years for everyone, and everybody has sacrificed and worked and been beaten down and gotten up and beaten down. And I think what we need to recognize here is it's not a contest. It's not I'm more beaten up than you or whatever. I think what is being activated right now is an innate humanity to collectively build and return to something. I want to also say that when other people take a stand, when someone takes a stand, especially if that stand is polarizing, you find out who you are. And therefore, regardless of the stand that is taken, whether you agree or disagree, whether it falls in line with your views or it doesn't, you find out who you are. You discover something about you. And therefore, no matter what the stand is, no matter what the polarization is, you discover a deeper level of yourself. And so we're going to be working with gratitude tonight. We're going to be working with a couple of emotions, gratitude being one of the most important ones. And while it's easy to be grateful for what you love and for your family or your loved ones or whatever, the power of gratitude comes from recognizing that the challenges, whether that's a situation, a person, a stance, a group, the challenges are the things that change the fabric of who you are. And therefore, when you can find the gratitude in what has been the most difficult thing for you, the power, and I'm not speaking metaphorically, I'm speaking literally, the power is magnified. So we're going to be working with that today. So the purpose, we're going to use some technologies you may have heard of or maybe not. And again, I can see that some people have their cameras off. I don't know how to help you turn them on. I've got that enabled in the room. If you want to turn your camera on, we'd love to see your face. I get it if it's late or early, wherever you are in the world. We've got people from Perth all the way around the world through to Europe. So people are in various stages of waking up or going to bed. So we totally appreciate that. But if you want to turn your cameras on, please do. Paul and Kelly, I don't know how to turn your camera on. We'd love to see your faces. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Let me lay it out for you. We are going to bring everybody, the whole group, into the same space. And I'm going to guide that using some of the technologies that I know. And then thanks to the many of you that sent in answers to your questions. So I've kind of summarized all that on a flip chart over here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that energy and we're going to infuse it into the vision for humanity. And we're going to put it into the collective timeline. So I want to give you a couple of definitions before we start, just for some of you who have never done anything like this with me before. When I speak about the power of gratitude, for example, I'm not, I mean, there's a metaphor there, but I'm actually speaking literally. And I want to just explain quickly some of the technology we're going to be utilizing today. So you, and again, this is a very simplified version of our body, but our body is an electromagnetic device. Our body, our brain is, our brain waves are electric, our heartbeats are electric. Wherever there's electricity, there's a magnetic field. That's just simple physics. That's Faraday's law. So our brain and our heart, as they pulse, they emit electromagnetic frequencies. The good people at HeartMath have done a ton of research showing the power of the EMF that comes off the heart. For every heart that beats, power comes off the body. And they've done a lot of research around what the different emotional signatures that were possible to be emitted from the human beings. And it's no different than the technology that we use called resonant physics to power our cell phones. So in a sense, human beings are both senders and receivers of electromagnetic frequency. And the question you have to ask yourself is, what's being sent on that frequency? Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to collectively focus the power of gratitude and love. And I'm going to teach you the technology for sending that out and enveloping the field and being received by people who are open and who are seeking this same type of unification. And then once we have established that as our collective frequency, we're going to use a technology that I've been teaching for decades. It's called timeline therapy. I'm not going to get into it tonight, but just to give you a brief outline, you have a timeline. We all have a timeline. It's not complicated, past, present, future. Your unconscious mind stores your time storage and uses your body as a reference point. So your timeline is unique to you. Mine is unique to me. And however you do it is perfect. It could be front to back or up to down or right to left or left to right or spiraled, or if you've got a sense of humor, maybe your timeline looks a little bit like the background in Lindsay's background where it's a lattice, doesn't matter. However you envision your timeline is perfect. And then what you need to understand is you're not alone in this world. And so our timelines are intertwined, and therefore there's a collective timeline. And that collective timeline, if you don't deliberately add to it, it gets what it gets. And now's the time. Now's the time we are going to deliberately add love, peace, and unity into our collective timeline. And I'm going to teach you the technique for doing that. And we're going to send that into the collective timeline. And then we're going to go about our business for this day or evening. So before I get started, I want to thank you all for taking the time to show up, to do this at the last minute, to give up whatever we're planning to do at this time of day, and just be here in service. This entire event is in service of humanity as humanity seeks to find its footing in unity and love and peace and freedom. So let's begin as a group by placing your hand on your heart. Everybody place your hand. Let me see if I can get my camera. Everybody place your hand on your heart. And then very simply, just take a deep breath. Now, if it's easier for you to close your eyes, what I want you to do is imagine just breathing in and out of your heart. So I know that sounds weird because obviously we breathe in and out through our mouth and nose, but if you could imagine the breath going in and out through your heart. Okay, I want you to do that. I'm going to play a little bit. I worked on a quick little music playlist, not my strength, but I grabbed a few love songs. So let's just for 1 minute here, breathe in and out through our heart. That's all you got to do right now is breathe in and out through your heart. Okay, now, as you continue breathing in and out through your heart, as you continue breathing in and out through your heart, what I want you to do is I want you to activate a feeling of appreciation or gratitude. right? So the first step to activate this feeling of appreciation or gratitude is to just think of something you're grateful. Just think of one thing. Could be something simple, could be something complex, right? Just think of something that you're grateful for. And as you do that, I invite you to step into whatever image just popped into your mind, the memory, the image that you created. Step into it, looking through your own eyes, and see what you see, hear what you hear, and really feel the feeling of being grateful. Really try to activate that feeling in your body as you continue to breathe in and out through your heart. Now pick something else that you're grateful for, or someone, and activate another feeling of appreciation or gratitude for someone or something in your life. And as you do that, I invite you to step into the picture, right? See what you see, hear what you hear, and really feel the feeling of that gratitude. Really feel it, try to build it like a wave. And do one more. Pick one more person or situation in your life that you're truly grateful for. And this is where I invite you to stretch. Pick the thing that has challenged you the most, the person, the situation, the group that has really challenged you, really, and recognize that in that polarization, in showing up as the hardest thing that's ever shown up in your life, you find out something more about yourself, a deeper level of understanding, of compassion, of courage, of strength. You find that from the first book I ever wrote was called The Secret of Successful Failing. And I said, self-esteem doesn't come from never falling. It comes from being face down in the mud and deciding that you're not going to let this break you. So I really want you to activate that feeling of appreciation or gratitude. And if you can do it, as it says in some of those good books, turn the other cheek or treat others like you want to be treated. If you can do that, you can really elevate the power of the gratitude that's flowing through you. Now, as you continue to breathe in and out through your heart, slower than deeper than normal, and activating a feeling of appreciation or gratitude, now what I want to invite you to do, now that you've built it, is I want you to close your eyes if you aren't already, and imagine now that you are filling up with a white light, and imagine it streaming down from above your head and filling you up like as if you were a container. So the edges of your meat suit, right? Just have that light go and fill you up. And if you want to imagine as it comes in through you, maybe it splits into the prism, the rainbow, and it just fills the inside of your body with white light. And then that splits into all the colors, and it goes to all the areas of your body that just really need that healing right now, really need that energy right now, and continue to breathe and continue to activate the feeling of appreciation or gratitude. So have that light flow down through the top of your forehead and all the way through your face and your throat, and have that white light fill up in your shoulders and into your heart and down through your rib cage, and have it fill your solar plexus as you breathe in and out through your heart, and have that white light fill all the way down through the trunk of your body and into your hip area and down through the root chakra, and then have it fill all the way down through your arms and your legs until your whole body is filled with this glowing white light as you continue to breathe in and out through your heart. And now what I'd like to do is, as you've built up the energy, as you've built up the gratitude and sustained it, I'd like you to now imagine sending this energy. So we've been bringing it in and bringing it in. Now I want you to reverse that, and I want you to imagine sending it out through your hearts or your hand, but your heart is actually physically beating, and send it out to the planet. Let's send it first to the people that you know and love. Send it first to the people that you know and love that are struggling the most. The ones that they've had a bad year, they have not had the resources to cope with what's come at them, and just fill them up first. Because as Marianne Williamson said, everything that happens to you is either an act of love or a cry for love. And if it doesn't feel like an act of love, then it is a cry for love. So send that to the people in your life that, maybe they've behaved badly. Send it to them. They need it the most. Then send it out to the people that maybe are in your circle, but they're not necessarily people you know that well. Send it out to them. Send it. Just all it takes is your intention. Breathe in through your heart, and then you're filled with gratitude, and then send it out. Send it out through your heart. Send it out through the chakras in your hands. Send it out to all the people on the planet. Now send it out to the brave men and women who have braved through this entire pandemic. All the people that have had to show up and work when the rest of us got to hide. All of those people, everyone, right? I remember when this first started, I stood on my balcony every single day at 7 o'clock for the healthcare workers and the frontline workers and the grocery store workers in my community. And I rang my pots and pans and bells and cowbells every day. I didn't feel like doing it every day. And I would breathe in and I would send this energy out to them. And there's a movement in Canada right now. Yes, it started with the truckers needing to continue to work, but it has turned into so much more than that. It has turned into people craving unity, people craving connection, craving love. So let's send our energy out to them. Let's send our energy out to people, the brave people. It can't be easy to show up and protest, especially when it's not the popular opinion. Let's send them love and strength. Let's send them unity. And here are the things that were in your responses: understanding and compassion, truth and dancing. I loved dancing, and cheering. Let's send that out to them. Let's send it out to our politicians. They're doing the best they can. I wouldn't want to be a politician to save my life. And believe me, I've been asked more than once. It can't be an easy job. We don't need to agree with what everyone's doing, but these are human beings doing the best they can. Let's send this out to them. Wherever you are in the world, there are people from many countries. Send this love and gratitude out to them. And now imagine, and I love this visual, so I'm just going to build on it, what Lindsay's got behind her head there. Imagine now just sending the general love and compassion and gratitude and unity out as a web. So Sean connects with Danielle, who connects with Annabelle, who connects with Kathy, who connects with Eva, connects with Marla, connects with Simon, connects with Paul and Kelly, who connects with Tammy, connects with Andrew, connects with Altina, who connects with Guest, who connects with Chris, who connects with Andrew, who connects with Gina. And we collectively, because we're all sending out the same message, we're all sending out the same collective unity. So go ahead and do all of that and continue to really breathe. And now, as you do that, I want to invite you, while you're in this state, this raised state of vibration, of gratitude and love and peace and harmony, I want you to now imagine what the world could look like tomorrow. Now, I'm not saying you imagine what you think could logically happen tomorrow. I want to invite you to imagine a world tomorrow that is different from today. Some of the keys here are to imagine what you want, not to imagine what you don't want, not to speak of what you no longer want, but to imagine what you want. And when I asked this question to the group, what I asked was, what's the very last thing that has to happen so you know something's changed tomorrow, right? There's a group, it's a rather large group of people in Canada that are actively participating in an event to unify Canadians, and they are doing the best that they can to change the world that we're living in. And the way that we can serve them is by actively imagining what could happen here? What's the scenario? And the answers that I was getting from you in the preparation for this call were that there are going to be joy and unity and dancing and singing in the streets, and I got this vision of dancing in the street. I can't remember who sang that song. I want to say Van Halen, maybe, but that vision of like, and then somebody said, they named a location in Ottawa, and it said it's going to be full of people, old and young, from all walks of life, hugging and singing and dancing. And I was reminded of an experience that I had about in 2014 when my family and I were traveling around the world, and we were in South Africa when Nelson Mandela died. And we were so fortunate to be able to experience this exact unity, this unification. And that's where I go at this time when I think what's possible is this real collective unification of love and compassion. Not everybody in that room agreed. Not everybody in the streets where we were in South Africa had the same viewpoints, the same opinions, the same jobs, the same political viewpoints, but they rose above it. In NLP, we say they chunked up. They chunked up to something bigger. They chunked up to that which that connects us, not that which that divides us. And so that's what's happening right now. There's a groundswell of chunking up. There's a groundswell of people raising to what connects us instead of focusing on what divides us. So let me ask you this. What has to happen in your reality? Literally, I'm not asking for a metaphor here. I want you to envision what would have to happen tomorrow so that you would know that things have changed. And again, I want you to think of what needs to be present, not what needs to be absent. I want you to think of what you want, not what you don't want. And the answers to the questions were dancing and singing and freedom and choice and tolerance and compassion. Here, I'll show you. I'm not making this shit up. This is the flip chart that I did when I was bringing everybody into this fold. So now what I'd like you to do is whatever that is for you, whatever vision you have in your mind of what's possible tomorrow for humanity. Tomorrow, we'll call it, middle of the day in Canada, just since there's going to be a whole bunch of people, and we're going to send them love and light so that everything stays peaceful, everything stays compassionate, and they have the strength to remain in the elevated, chunked up state. What I'd invite you to do now is step into that scene that you've created in your mind. So in your mind, step into it as if, it's sort of like a virtual reality. If you've got a virtual reality thing, you would step into it and you'd be looking at your own hands and your own feet. And I want you to adjust the visual, and I want you to make it real, whatever that means to you, colors, people. And I want you to adjust the sounds. I want you to add whatever sounds would be present if this were happening right now. And then what I want you to do is pump up the feeling. Now you've spent the last 20 minutes pumping up the feeling of appreciation and gratitude. So infuse that into this representation of this change for humanity. And go ahead and just infuse all of that into it. And when this image, this internal representation for you is at its peak of something you want so badly, when it's at its peak, I want you to freeze it. And I want you to jump out of it and hold it in your hand. Literally, like what I'm doing right now, hold it in your hand like it's a picture. And as a group, let's collectively take 4 breaths of all of this gratitude and this energy that we've been raising for the last 20 minutes. And let's breathe that into this image that we've just created. So breathe in with me. Ready? It's like fogging up a mirror. And breathe in, out into the picture. Breathe in again. What we're doing is we're energizing this with the gratitude and power of now. Breathe in again. Really send it into this image. Really activate it like you're starting, a fire with your breath. Now breathe in again. And the last one. And then this is the visualization part. Take the activated, energized picture you just made. Close your eyes and imagine floating up above your life, and the timeline of your life is down on the ground. However that is for you, if it's colored, red, blue, black, if it's sparkling, if it's light, it doesn't matter. Just imagine the timeline of your life laid out on the ground. Your past is in one place, your future is in another place. Just imagine it as you hover above it, like Superman or Superwoman would in a movie, looking through your Superman or Superwoman eyes, holding this energized representation for tomorrow. For tomorrow, let's call it 12 Eastern time in Canada, in Ottawa, so that we can put this into the reality for Canada, but this will be present for everyone around the world. What I'd invite you to do is take your Superman or Superwoman eyes and imagine floating and hovering above that time tomorrow. Imagine looking down on the world tomorrow at that time, and now put that picture that you've made, put it into your timeline. Go ahead and drop it down into your timeline tomorrow, and notice as you're doing that, everybody else on this call is doing the same thing. Notice as you're doing that, everybody collectively is doing the same thing at the same time. And what you'll notice is the collective timeline is getting brighter as it gets infused with your energy, as it gets infused with your intention, and as your representation for reality drops into your timeline. As it drops into your timeline, it drops into the collective timeline of humanity. And we have just done the intention setting, the power space holding for people who might be walking into situations that are going to be challenging tomorrow, who might be tested, who might be tempted. And we're going to instead imagine encircling them with a fence, a lattice, if you will, a web of unity and love and compassion, so that they will be able to draw on that strength to be able to maintain that state and send it out from their heart when they need it most in real time. And then just notice how your timeline has changed because of this, and how the timeline of humanity has changed. And from your Superman or Superwoman perspective, I invite you to float back to now, float down into the room that you're sitting in, take a deep breath, let it go. Take another deep breath and just in through your heart and out through your heart, and let it go. And let me just say this as we close up. I promised you it would be 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes exactly. We got lives to get on with. You can do this whenever you want, especially the preparation and the steps, because you were so selfless to come and serve humanity tonight, to help what's going on in Canada, but not just in Canada. This isn't just about Canada. This is about the world. This is about humans remembering what it means to be a human. We have forgotten in our fear, but be compassionate. When someone is afraid, they act on false evidence appearing real, they're not in their head. I mean, they're not in their heart, they're in their head. They're afraid. You would no sooner be mad at a child for being afraid of a monster. Why are you mad at an adult for acting in fear? Humans are very predictable. So instead, let's try to live by the words that I shared at the beginning of this, that Marianne Williams said. I practice with her every single day. If what you experience from someone else is not an act of love, if it doesn't feel like an act of love, then it is a cry for love. And that is it. That is it. It is binary. And if it is a cry for love, and you know that, you have a responsibility to give love. I know it's not easy, but that is where the miracle occurs. The miracle occurs when we can take the illusion, see through it, and put love back into the field. What is needed here is love and compassion and tolerance for people, for humans, because everybody is fighting a battle you know nothing about. So I want to thank you honestly from the bottom of my heart for helping me. I would have done this anyway, but the group of you made it stronger. And I want to tell you that that we've recorded this and we're going to make this available to you as quickly as we can. And I'm going to invite you to practice this daily. Why not? Hourly, every minute, whatever you got, whatever time you can give to humanity will not go to waste. These things end because the average person shows up in love. World War II didn't end because of a strategy or a bomb or a whatever. So World War II ended because potato farmers started showing up and taking a stand for those people who were less able to take a stand. That's how it ended. Okay, this crisis will end when regular people show up and be irregular, show up with an open heart when the whole environment is screaming at them to close in fear. That's where the miracle occurs. So thank you for serving humanity. I'm so happy to see so many of you. Your beautiful faces give me so much joy. I'm going to release you to your day or night. Thank you to those of you who joined us from around the world. I miss seeing some of you, and I look forward to catching up soon. My heart out to you, just so you know, when you were doing that exercise, I was actually sending my gratitude to each and every one of you individually on this call so that you can have the power to do whatever might be difficult for you in sending love into a world that is needing it like a I was going to say like a sponge needs water. So thank you. Have a great night. We'll send this video out as soon as it's done.